The sun hadn't fully risen over Willow Creek Lane when the first knock landed. Sharp, forceful, and nothing like the polite raps expected from an HOA inspector. It echoed through the Walker home like a threat wrapped in wood and metal. Inside, Lisa Walker angled her wheelchair toward the front window. Morning light spilled across her face, outlining the warrior she still was beneath the civilian exterior. Her hazel eyes tracked the silhouettes outside. 3 broad men in matching navy jackets with HOA enforcement printed across their backs. Fake authority, fake uniforms, fake everything. They looked more like a tactical raid team than neighborhood volunteers. Heavy boots, tactical belts, short rifles slung low. Lisa's fingers paused on her wheel rest. "Jack," she murmured. At the dining table, her twin brothers reacted instantly. Years of shared battlefields had given them an instinct sharper than radar. Matt rose first, slow and centered. Jack moved without sound, stepping between Lisa and the front door before he even looked outside. Another hammering blow slammed the door. HOA enforcement. A voice barked. "Open up. Now." Lisa didn't flinch. She'd been shot at, blasted, and blown off her feet in Afghanistan. A loud mouth on a porch wasn't going to shake her. Jack called back, tone firm. "This is private property. Identify yourselves." A short, humorless laugh answered him. "You've ignored violations. We're here to enforce compliance." Lisa frowned. "With rifles?" Matt shot a glance out the side window. Just an inch of movement, just enough to clock the details. A black SUV idled in the driveway. "No municipal plats. No HOA de calles. No legitimacy." "They're not HOA," Matt muttered. The doorknob rattled violently. "You got 5 seconds before we take it down." Lisa rolled her chair forward slightly, voice ice cold. "Touch that door, and I call the sheriff." Another chuckle. "Go ahead." The sound of a rifle's safety disengaging drifted through the wood. Jack's voice dropped low. "Matt, I know." The board beneath the door groaned. Boots shifted. Someone outside whispered something too soft to hear. Then everything happened at once. A thunderous crash. Splintering wood. The deadbolt exploding. Light pouring in around 3 armed figures. The door didn't open. It detonated. They stepped inside with the confidence of men who expected fear to do the work for them. Their jackets up close looked cheaper, stitching uneven and rushed. Their rifles hung ready. Their eyes scanned the home like predators marking territory. Lisa stayed centered in the living room, posture straight. No fear, no flinch, just calculation. Jack moved forward, blocking her from sight. "You've got 2 seconds to explain yourselves," he said. The lead intruder smirked. "You left trash cans out. Your lawn's over 3 inches. Christmas lights were up too long." Matt's eyebrow arched, sharp and dangerous. "With guns." "Sometimes," the man replied, "people need persuasion." Lisa scoffed. "You're not HOA. You're criminals playing dress-up." They made the tall, lean one tense. "Show us your compliance paperwork." Jack stepped slightly left, funneling the intruders into the narrowest part of the room. Matt shifted to cut off access to the kitchen. Their formation was subtle but precise, seal efficiency in a cozy living room. The jittery third man twitched his hand toward his rifle. "Don't," Jack warned. The tension coiled tighter. Outside, the SUV idled. The faint hum sounded like a countdown. Lisa spoke, calm as a surgeon. "Last chance. Walk out now." The leader laughed too loudly. "We are the law here." Jack took 1 step forward. Slow, controlled, dangerous. "You're standing in a SEAL's house," he said. 2 of them. "And you're threatening our sister." All 3 intruders faltered, just slightly, just enough for the twins to read fear in their posture. Outside, the SUV engine revved once, sharp like a signal. Lisa tilted her head. "Hear that? Your ride's getting nervous." The lead man hesitated, then jerked his chin. "We'll be back." Jack smiled without warmth. "We'll be waiting." The 3 retreated, boots clattering across the porch. They climbed into the SUV and rolled away without another word. Silence settled thick as dust. Matt shut the shattered door, wood hanging by memory alone. Lisa exhaled. "They were testing us." Jack nodded. "Next time they won't knock." The SUV disappeared down the street, its shadow lingering longer than the vehicle itself. Minutes later, Jack stepped onto the porch and froze. A silver sedan sat under the sycamore tree across the road. Someone sat inside, too still, too watchful. Jack didn't blink. "We've got company," he murmured. Matt stepped beside him, eyes narrowing. And this time, the twins didn't wait for the knock. The silver sedan didn't move. It sat like a quiet threat watching the house. The Walker twins exchanged a silent communication honed over a lifetime. Matt stepped back inside. "Lisa, get to position." She didn't question. She spun her chair toward the hallway, stopping beside the narrow built-in cabinet. Her fingers flew, opening the lowest drawer. Inside sat a compact tactical tablet, a device she'd kept just in case. She tapped the screen. "Come on, gamma online." A small grin tugged at Jack's mouth. "Knew you'd still have one." "Always," she said. Heat signatures lit the screen, 3 figures in the sedan. And then, another dot. Another vehicle rolling in from the far end of the street. A second SUV. Dark, tinted, heavy tires. "They're coming back," Lisa said. Matt didn't waste breath. "Jack, outer perimeter, already on it." He moved through the house with fast, quiet purpose, checking windows, lines of sight, fallback points. Matt flipped a cabinet panel open, revealing a secured case. Inside lay their old gear, not weapons of war, but enough to defend a home. Outside, the second SUV stopped to the curb. 5 men spilled out, armed like the first crew, false HOA jackets, real rifles. One tapped his earpiece. "Alpha unit in position. Moving on my mark." Inside, Lisa whispered, "They're coordinating." Matt's jaw hardened. "Then we break coordination." The sedan door slammed open. 3 more men emerged. 8 total. Too many for civilians. Perfect for SEALs. Jack returned to the living room just as the men fanned out across the front yard. "They're forming a crescent," Jack said, "trying to box us in." Matt cracked his knuckles. "Let's break this circle." Outside, a voice barked. "Walkers, come out. Now." Jack peeked through the side curtain. One intruder carried a battering ram. Another held zip cuffs. Lisa spoke coolly into the radio. She'd synced to their frequency. "You step 1 foot on my porch, and I call every deputy this county has. They'll love your fake uniforms." A burst of static answered. "Then, take the house." The line of men surged forward. "Positions," Jack shouted. The first intruder reached the porch, and Matt burst through the side door like a hurricane. He moved low, fast, and silent. Before the man could swing the battering ram, Matt's forearm snapped upward, knocking the weapon aside. A swift knee drove into the man's ribs. He dropped like a crumpled tarp. The second intruder spun toward the movement, too slow. Jack launched himself from the opposite side of the porch. A clean strike to the wrist sent the rifle skidding. A second strike dropped the man to his knees. The rest of the fake HOA squad erupted in chaos. On the porch, flank left. "Where'd they?" Lisa watched through the window, tracking heat signatures on her tablet. "2 behind the SUV," she called out. Jack ducked as bullets shredded the porch beam. Matt rolled behind the railing, ripped the dropped rifle away, and slid it across the floor toward Jack. For backup, he muttered. "I'll take it," Jack replied. The SUV men emerged, firing in short bursts. Wood splintered. Dirt kicked up, but the twins moved like ghosts. Jack darted down the steps, sliding behind the flower bed retaining wall. Matt sprinted low toward the parked sedan, using the vehicles as cover. The fake enforcers shouted commands but tangled each other's lines of fire. Inside, Lisa watched every movement. She tapped the camera feed, zoom, angle, identify. 3 pushing right side, 1 coming up the porch. The porch attacker kicked at the broken door, and Lisa was waiting. Her wheelchair surged forward, ramming into the door with controlled force. The door smacked the attacker square in the face. He stumbled backward, right as Jack vaulted the railing and delivered a finishing strike. "Nice assist," Jack called. "I aim to please," Lisa replied. 3 more men regrouped near the second SUV, trying to box Matt in. They advanced fast, but not faster than a SEAL. Matt slid low, sweeping the first man's legs. The second raised his rifle. Jack tackled him from behind. The third managed a wild shot that hit the SUV door with a metallic clang. Lisa's voice cut through the radio. "Behind you, Matt." He spun. Too late. The last attacker lunged. A heavy thud sounded as the sedan door burst open from inside. The driver, someone the twins hadn't accounted for, charged at Matt with a knife. Matt blocked the first strike, then twisted, using the attacker's momentum to slam him into the hood of the car. Jack grabbed the man's wrist. Knife down. Matt wrenched the blade free. "Stay down." The attacker collapsed. Silence finally settled. The yard looked like a battlefield. Men groaning, rifles scattered, SUVs idle and useless. Jack exhaled. Everyone accounted for. Lisa rolled out onto the porch, calm but fierce. "Calling the sheriff now." Matt surveyed the fallen intruders. Whoever they are, this wasn't about trash cans. Jack nodded grimly. This was professional. Someone hired them. Lisa's eyes sharpened. "Then we find out who." The twins exchanged that same old look. Danger recognized, mission accepted. At that moment, distant sirens began to wail. And the walkers knew this was only the beginning. Blue and red lights washed over Willow Creek Lane. Sheriff cruisers lined the street like a protective wall, their engines humming, radios crackling. Deputies moved between the fallen intruders, securing rifles, zip cuffs, fake badges, evidence of a planned, organized assault, not a neighborhood dispute. Lisa sat on the porch, hands folded, watching everything with a calm intensity. Jack and Matt stood on either side of her, bruised knuckles and steady eyes. They'd faced worse, but never on their own doorstep. Sheriff Daniels approached, hat tucked under his arm, expression tight. "I've been doing this job 22 years, he said, scanning the unconscious men being loaded into vans. "And I've never seen an HOA try to stage a tactical invasion." Jack shook his head. "They're not HOA. They're mercenaries wearing the world's dumbest costumes." Lisa raised a brow. "The question is, who hired them?" Daniels exhaled. "We're running IDs now, but so far, all aliases. No matches in state or federal systems. Whoever these men work for, they're funded and dangerous." Matt glanced toward the black SUVs. "These vehicles will tell us something." A deputy approached with a tablet in hand. "Sheriff, you need to see this." The deputy turned the screen around. On it was a bank transfer, a large one, to a private security contractor with a sealed client record. Daniels frowned. This kind of money doesn't come from landscaping fines. Jack leaned in, eyes narrowing. "Tap for client." "We did." The deputy hesitated. "It's encrypted." Matt crossed his arms. "Let me guess, someone local?" Lisa backed her wheelchair slightly, eyes narrowing with thought. "Someone who wants control of Willow Creek badly enough to hire muscle. Someone who needs to remove residents to get what they want." Daniels rubbed his temples. "The HOA president, maybe?" "No," Lisa said. "She's strict, not stupid. She'd file petitions, not hire an army." Jack turned toward the quiet house across the street. The only house on the block with its lights still on. Number 52. Curtains drawn. Car gone. Yet someone had been watching earlier. "The silver sedan?" Jack murmured. "It wasn't one of theirs. It was surveillance." Matt straightened. "Separate players? Or the same?" Jack said, covering loose ends. Lisa's tablet chimed. "Sheriff," she said slowly, "you might want to hear this." A new scan showed a heat signature inside House 52. One person, still, but awake, watching. Daniel swore under his breath. "You telling me someone sat and watched this whole attack happen?" Lisa nodded and didn't intervene. "That means they're involved, frightened, or both." Jack's voice hardened. "Let's find out." 10 minutes later, the sheriff, his deputies, and the twins approached House 52. The porch creaked under their steps. The curtains didn't shift. No one peered out. The house seemed too still, like someone holding their breath. Daniels knocked firmly. "County Sheriff." "Open the door." Silence. Matt tilted his head. "Someone's inside. They're just not answering." Jack nodded. Back in trance. Daniels signaled 2 deputies. But the door clicked open. A small, fragile man stood there, thin, pale, trembling so violently his glasses shook on the bridge of his nose. I didn't know what to do, he whispered. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Lisa rolled forward slightly. Sir, what's your name? Harold. Harold Finch. I handle the HOA's financial database. Jack's eyes sharpened. You have answers. Harold swallowed, tears pooling. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. Matt's voice softened just enough. Tell us what's happening. Harold stepped aside shakily. Come in, please. The house was cluttered, papers piled everywhere. A single laptop open on the coffee table with numbers scrolling endlessly. Harold sank onto a chair, burying his face in his hands. It started 8 months ago, he said, voice cracking. The HOA received an offer. A development company wanted to buy out the entire neighborhood, build a luxury resort. But to do that, we had to force everyone out. Lisa's jaw tightened. By harassing residents? Harold nodded miserably. And by making it miserable to live here. Tickets, violations, legal threats. But when people didn't leave, he gestured weakly. They escalated. Jack's voice was ice. By hiring mercenaries. Harold nodded. The company had connections. They said if I kept quiet, I'd get a payout. Enough to retire. Enough to start over. Matt paced slowly. The silver sedan was you? I was supposed to watch. Make sure the enforcement team got the right house. But when I saw rifles, actual rifles, I panicked. He looked at them helplessly. I couldn't stop them. Lisa softened slightly. But you can help stop them now. Harold looked up. I can transfer the files. Emails. Bank records. Contracts. All of it. Daniel stepped closer. That's enough to bury them. The frail man nodded. I'll cooperate fully. I don't want to run anymore. Matt glanced at Jack. Looks like we have our source. Jack exhaled slowly. And our target. Harold blinked. There's one more thing. He turned the laptop toward them. A blueprint glowed on the screen of Willow Creek Lane. Every house, every resident, marked, color-coded. In the center, highlighted in red. 48, Willow Creek Lane. High priority removal. Lisa's house. Harold whispered. They targeted you first because they knew who you are. Silence filled the room. Then Jack's voice cut through, low and certain. Not anymore. Now we're targeting them. By sunrise, the sheriff's office had Harold in protective custody. The evidence had already begun unraveling the entire operation. Arrest warrants were being prepared. The development company's executives were being hunted by federal agencies. Lisa watched the dawn from her porch, the repaired temporary door leaning against the frame, the churned-up dirt of the yard now quiet. Matt stepped beside her. Think they'll come back? Lisa shook her head. Not without a death wish. Jack leaned on the railing. This neighborhood's safe now. She smiled slightly. Because they didn't expect us. Matt grinned. No one expects seals hiding in suburbia. The three siblings stood together as the sun rose over Willow Creek Lane, stronger, united, unbroken. This time, no SUVs lurked in the shadows. No fake enforcers prowled the street. And no one else would dare knock on their door, pretending to own their home. Because the Walkers had made one thing clear. This was their neighborhood, and no one was taking it from them again.